We are here to remember those who, without shelter, many of whom died on the street, have gone to the other side. So we pray that those who were unsheltered here have found shelter on the other side. Shelter with kindness, compassion, and shalom, peace. In that sense, death is better than a life of pain and suffering. And eternal shelter is better than constant travail. But let us not be too troubled to understand what is too difficult for us, nor search for what is hidden, nor be preoccupied with what is beyond. For all too often those who suffer have been shown more than we here on earth can comprehend. As a drop of water in the sea, as a grain of sand on the shore, so are our days on the way to eternity. And so while the good things in life may last for all too short a time, how much more so does a good reputation endure forever? Therefore, my friends, mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love our companions. Their gifts of spirit cannot be here measured or weighed, nor can they be lost or even tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that the light of comradeship and love will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage in the fullness of time. In the meantime, may those who live without shelter on this side and those who have found, we pray, eternal shelter on the other side, be sustained with mutual courage, love, and peace. Amen.
Okay, so Alicia, would you like to say some words while and then people come up, I have to return this card before the Vets Hall shuts down. Sorry.
This one's solid.
Hey everyone. So I'm really sad to be here. These memorials are really starting to take its toll. I find this all incredibly emotionally distressing. As the days go by in the city of Santa Cruz, I find my stress and my emotional well-being kind of just deteriorating on a daily basis. I'm seeing people be further victimized, vulnerable people. They're losing their stuff just constantly on a daily basis through sweeps. They're losing their winter survival gear. We're having to replace that just constantly. We have a serious lack of winter shelter. As you all may know, the city chose to keep open 1220 River, but they did not open the VFW. And so we are just lacking shelter altogether for our most vulnerable residents here. And part of what we need to do in Santa Cruz is change the narrative surrounding homelessness. I know that a lot of people like to focus on, the couple hundred people that we see on a daily basis that are in front of our eyes and that lack the privacy to carry on their business in a house like some people get to do. And so their lives are in front of us. And there's a much wider aspect of homelessness that really needs to be considered, especially in the city of Santa Cruz. We've seen the university students share their struggle. We know that we have full-time workers, families that can't afford rent, and so the solutions need to be put in place for the people that are struggling here in Santa Cruz. And we need to not be afraid of those solutions. We need to not focus on people that may have mental illness or substance abuse issues and use that as an excuse to say that people are not worthy of help. People are worthy of help. A lot of the people that are on these pink heart papers back here, they were lives. They were people that meant something. And I have no doubt in my mind that many of those people could have lived longer lives if their needs had been met, if they had been offered shelter or housing. And so it just breaks my heart that we have to gather here and think about the loss. You know, the loss, that's somebody's child, that's somebody who may have had a house before, that's people who have served this community, people who may have done your laundry, your dishes, they may have owned a house before, they may have been a business owner, they may have been a victim of the economy. It could be you next year. It could be you tomorrow. We really, really need to come together and fight for solutions. There is no reason that we should have all of these papers behind us. It just breaks my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Who's next? Who else would like to speak?
Go speak on it, Robert.
Oh, Robert! Oh my God, my batteries aren't going to last that long.
It's going to be brief, very brief. I have been elsewhere, so I didn't hear what Alicia said. Alicia, what did you say that I shouldn't have to repeat again?
I said that we shouldn't be afraid of solutions, and that there's no reason that we should be looking at all of these papers. We need to focus on the solution. I talked about the broader demographic of homelessness.
Okay, well, if you want details on the homeless situation, I brought along at least one flyer which talks about this memorial, and if you're online, you already have it. It lists the names of all the people according to the official count who died in the last year, either on the streets or close to the streets, and got into a hospital bed or a hospice, something to that effect. I'm still trying to figure out why they have 84, now 85 with the death of Kat, names. The woman who died 2 days ago, I was told.
Just closer to it.
Okay, how's that? Still hear me? Okay, so I don't know why there are 85 names on this sheet, which was given out 2 days ago at the official memorial, and the number of 58 mentioned repeatedly on their literature. And also, quite frankly, this is a shocking increase from last year, which was 40, 50, or 60, no, it wasn't 60, between 40 and 50, I believe. Maybe I'm off by 5 or 10. But this is a massive increase if this is true, unless we're thinking of something else. But whatever it is, I'm always annoyed at these memorials that we have, first of all, that they're not run by people who know the people who have died and are concerned about that. And in this case, it's different because there at least some of the people know some of the people who've died. But also, and I say this every time I think about a memorial, we need these memorials before people die. We need these memorials, and that's not just true for people outside. It's just generally true. If you have some respect and regard for a person's life, for God's sake, celebrate it while they're still alive. But then, of course, when we're talking about folks outside, the issue now is the winter shelter that doesn't exist. And that means this winter, tonight, and tomorrow when it starts raining hard, which apparently is happening soon. You have a situation where there's lots of money being shoveled into the government agencies, city and county, but there's been no, in fact, increase in shelter. In fact, there's been a decrease in walk-in winter shelter from last year. So this situation, we see at least one individual in the crowd who tried to alleviate it, the tall guy with the sunglasses on, who actually presented some resolutions at City Council, which were quickly buried by the mayor, then Mayor Watkins. But it's still obvious. If people haven't got an indoor shelter, although there are plenty of buildings around here that could be occupied as vacant buildings. I speak as a person who spent a year fighting felony charges for reporting on an occupation 10 years ago at the Occupy movement. So it's not an easy thing to do, but neither is it getting soaked, wet, and freezing outside. So they're going to be things confronting people in the next few days, maybe the next few hours for some people who want to be indoors or at least sheltered and in a group somewhere?
Where's the shelter or group?
That's a good question. If we have any, we have a member of the Catch standing over there. That's the community group that is supposed to be.
I was told like last year I was trying to apply for the HOPE program.
I'm asking about your question for you. I want to hear it. You get to talk next, man. I'm gonna yield. No, I'm gonna yield the mic shortly. Tell us about shelters that currently exist, because your group, Rafa, has been studying this issue, and you know what exists now. So come over here and talk about what's available for tonight. Anything available for tonight?
Are there any empty beds in the poly lot that used to be?
I hear Serge. Serge will give you an update. Go ahead, Serge.
My name's Serge, and I came here for the memorial. We lost a bunch of people. You guys want to know about services or anything, I can talk to you after the memorial.
Some pathways and fucking
So,
United Ways, they suck. Program sucks.
so we all lost a lot of people this year, and
Talk about that they can donate things that we don't want.
yeah, and so one of the things that has happened, which has contributed to people passing away, has been that the city has a policy of taking people's blankets, sleeping bags, and other survival belongings, and we need to always replenish them, because every Saturday and Sunday, or in fact, anytime somebody sees the Food Not Bombs van, they go, do you have a blanket? You have a blanket? The police just took my blanket. And so we actually spend thousands and thousands of dollars in the city of Santa Cruz taking people's personal belongings and putting them in the dumpsters and then hauling it to the dump and throwing it away. I think in the 2017 report it was several $100,000 just spent on throwing away, collecting and throwing away people's survival gear.
Shame.
So then we spend our own money buying survival gear to replace the survival gear that the city confiscates from our friends. And so it's because of this, people become very cold and wet. The city also has a policy of driving people out of the parking garages and under the awnings when it's raining. And the people then end up, I think if Joey's here, he could talk about how they kicked 14 people out of the Locust Street garage into the pouring rain. All their belongings were wet. Then they came to us looking for new belongings. So we're actually funding and organizing and paying to harm people who end up on the streets and then die. The other thing that happens is, for instance, I have a friend that was here. I used to live in a wheelchair, and he had. Because I had back surgery and I had my walker, he was like, oh, what's your back surgery? I told him what it was, a fusion. He goes, I had that. He got that because he was working at Sears over in Capitola, and they had to sell the floor model of a refrigerator. And so they put it onto a truck and it slipped and he broke his back. Then after he lost his disability and everything, he ends up on the streets, and sadly he eventually dies of cancer. But he had to spend his last days out here in a wheelchair with the police telling him he had to move and all that. And it was like, and these stories are endless, and they're going to be growing. And so there's a new discussion going on about creating a super giant, large facilities to place people in. And as you probably know, there's a ruling in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals saying it's cruel and unusual punishment to take people's belongings, to arrest them, and so on if there's not enough shelter. So what it appears to be is the solution to that is to build a giant facilities that people will be placed into. And the Mayor Steinberg of Sacramento, who's the head of the task force on homelessness for the state of California, the governor's office, is proposing that there's no legal right to live outside. And if we offer you this giant place, then you have to be there no matter what. And as we already know from our relationship with the local shelters in Santa Cruz, what you have to do is to go to Laurel Street to meet the van at 5:30, and then they take you in. You can't come and go. They can't make it to the cash meetings. They can't go to city council because you have to be indoors, and then they let you out, and you can't walk up to the shelters. A lot of people don't realize you can't walk up. You have to go in the van, and now they're moving that to the over to the jail. So all of our friends that are waiting to get in the Salvation Army van to go off to sleep on a gym mat 8 inches from their neighbor are going to be outside the jail looking like they're already pre-criminalized. So, you know, these are some of the basic problems that have led to there being 85 people perishing on the streets. So we need to organize as a community to push back against this. And even more frightening is Trump is in agreement with the governor and with his task force that they must eliminate people's rights to be outside and place them against their will indoors. And this is an emergency, and we need to fight back against it. And it's not a joke. It's not, oh, it happened in Nazi Germany, it won't be happening here. It is happening here. It is happening here now. And that's what they're practicing at 1220 to get us used to it. And we've got to push back and say people deserve housing. So we are not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We built America, and we need to be respected. We might be homeless, but we're not helpless. So I'd like to invite anybody else to...
We're going to say the name.
Are we going to say the name?
Sing the name.
Great, and then I'm going to return the card back to the Vets Hall again. Sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Oh yeah, that would be beautiful.
So at this time, we're going to take turns, and we're going to say the names of each individual community member that has been lost on the streets of Santa Cruz. And I will start, we'll say the name and then the age. So I will start and say Kevin Allen, age 40.
Michael Anderson, 68. Stanley Arnay, 66.
Dario Barraza, 87.
William Bird, 56.
Yeah, talk into the microphone. Get it out.
Caitlin Brady, or Brady?
Kathleen Brady.
Kathleen Brady, 67. I don't know.
David Buckman, 62.
Sarah Burke Warner, 46.
Robert Carr, 76.
Joe Clark, 55.
Susan Conrad, 55.
Kevin Cook, 66.
Carrie Carrijo, 62.
Leaf Colley, 50.
Diana Crotty, 55.
Connie Cunningham, 57.
Stephen Davis, 69.
Renata DeVitti, 71.
Donald Duda, 61.
William Earl, 63.
Jesus Farias, 34.
Robert Foster Jr., 67.
Elizabeth Fowler, 31.
Antonio Galera, 67.
James Glass, 29.
Maria Gonzalez Martinez, 61.
Scott Hall, 52.
Sonny Harper, 43.
Leonard Harkamir, 70.
Bonnie Hill, 67.
Jonas Hogg, 47.
Chardell Howell, 43.
William Hubbard, 63.
John Heilslow, 56.
Renee Iglesias, 54.
Rubella Javier, 53.
Stanley Johnson Jr., 65.
Dennis Carnes, 67.
Michael Kriz, 55.
Russell Kurtz, 65.
Chet Leaker, 47.
Jason Littlefield, 46.
Daniel Lloyd, 72.
Eddie Lozano, 56.
Barry Martinson, 68.
Mark Mezinko, 68.
Sebastian Mihu, 26.
Kurt Mydek, 57.
Charles Miller, 44.
Alyssa Marino, 29.
Asa Mosley, 50.
Marjorie Mullins, 65.
Jose Murillo, 49.
Dennis Murphy, 70.
Brooke Pettyjohn, 44.
Jesus Pontoja, 69.
Cameron Poole, 20.
Julia Popa, 61.
Mario Rosciado, 37.
Desiree Quinteras, 55.
I'm sorry, when she said Desiree, it kind of threw me off. That's my best friend. Oscar Ramirez, 29.
Rafael Ramirez, 61.
Jeffrey Raythert, 58.
James Rhodes, 64.
James Robinson, 61.
Raymond Rodriguez, 68.
Victor Rodriguez, 69.
Deborah Rushlow, 63.
John Salas, 55.
Henry Salazar, 60.
Thomas Schaefer, 44.
Sharon Silva, 64.
Dana Spriggs II, 40.
Nathan Stockard, 67.
Raymond Summerhays, 74.
Richard Tate, 68.
James Teeters, 58.
Juan Tejera, 60.
Reuben Tipton, 31.
Jason Wamshire, 48.
Ryan Wissell, 36.
Bianca Whitfield, 34.
Richard Williams, 78.
Dick Yacht, 76. And who was the other
And a recent death that we know of named Kat, but we don't have any other information. If anybody else has anything they'd like to come up and share.
I just wanted to say, you all are in it. This housing crisis, as they call it, this is reality. This is our real. This is our reality right here. So it's real, and we know it because we feel it, we wear it. It's in our heads. So we really got to fight. I don't know what, I don't know how. This city council thing, them people in there, I know of one person, he's right there. He fights for us.
Yes, he does.
That guy right there.
Yes, he does.
Y'all don't know him, that's Drew Glover.
Yes, Drew.
We know him.
So Drew's in the community. Y'all see anybody else?
Nope, not a one.
So y'all gotta fight also. Man, we tired. But if we don't fight, you getting less. We getting less. They don't mind taking. We gotta fight no matter what. I don't want to go to them meetings. It's bigger than me. I gotta show up. I don't know how much, what good it do, but I know I'm getting it out. I'm telling them what's up. And I can't stop. I mean, I want to. I really do. I don't want to see none of them folks. Drew is all right. But I'm telling you, if you don't fight, you got less people fighting for you, for us, for this world. So, like I said, I don't know what to do to how to fight, but we gotta do something. That's better than doing nothing, because it'll only get worse, if you can imagine worse. So, if you show up for the meetings to do something, I would say question Drew over here, because he might have some insights on what to do that will be effective, where we come up winning. We taking them steps up towards something. We got to do something. We got to keep going, keep fighting. And I'm telling you, without a fight, without your voice, without people doing what we do, there will be less heard. I don't know what to do, but we got to do something. We got to keep going.
Seen anything bad about anybody that doesn't deserve?
Question Brother Drew over here. I don't know what to say.
How about that, kid?
We got to fight. Period.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sonny Lopez. What's up, Santa Cruz? Hey, guess what? Look right behind us. Those are family members of us, you know what I mean? And friends, relatives, those who we actually know. And do you actually really care about any of them? Yes, or do you actually really care about the ones who are actually standing right now, such as yourselves?
Yes, both.
Let's start building homes.
Just need permission.
Let's start building homes and taking advantage of this fact that if we're going to get that help, let's get that birth certificate, let's get that ID, let's get that vote in. And going into those city councils, because you know why?
Claim your address.
Invasion of privacy, you cannot hide no more. So why be afraid of them going up there? Getting those knowledge, getting that knowledge that we need, other than getting stolen from other individuals who you could call friends, and then playing it off. What's up, buddy? And then all of a sudden, what? I'm stealing from you. For what? Just so that way you could get it fixed? I'm sorry. Enough is enough. A little kid is already dead. 20 years old. Who's the next one? How young can we go? For what? Look at the ones who are right next to you. And we're stealing from each other? And we're still in the same spot. Why are we fighting each other? We're hurting each other.
That's right. That's right.
I am my brother and I am my sister's keeper, right?
Right. Yes.
The religions as well, too. Cut me with that. It's what works with you inside as well. And you could actually throw on your face mask, but it's good to actually take it off as well.
Yeah.
Yourselves too, because you haven't been in this position just like us. We don't just need jobs, we need a house.
Yeah, we do.
We need our families back.
Yeah.
And not to lose anyone.
We're doing too much for too little by taking advantage. River Street Campman, I'm sorry.
That property is still being factored back into their pockets. And they're going to soon be moving out soon. Who's next on the waiting list? Till one gets kicked out? It's too small, it's too little. Too small, too little, and many people are out here. You guys have fences already over at the Ross encampment, and this one was actually starting it.
Every time I try something, they shut me down.
Transfer it, relocate it, doing it the same thing, at least getting connected with that. But there are several people who you cannot stop what they're going to do. You cannot actually play with the person as a toy. I'm not a toy. There's no strings on me. I was born this way just as you are, with the heart, a human. Your mother held you the same way. 9 months to think, how are you going to come out in this world? Look at you now. Are you going to be that next person lying down, 6 feet down under, or ashes? I'm pretty much sure my time's going to be coming up soon. But you know what? I have a voice for some reason. And I'm proud of it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, brother.
You ain't going
Stay strong.
nowhere.
Stay strong.
Go say something. Elise.
Life is precious. Life. We're alive right now. We're eating. How great is Food Not Bombs? How great is Food Not Bombs?
So great.
How great is it to be here with each other outside? Outside in the beautiful life under the beautiful sky. With each other, it's chilly. Life is what we share. And death is what makes life so special. One of the things, at least. It's special.
Yes.
It's amazing we're alive.
Yes.
And when we lose a friend, when we lose a person in our community, what is it when you're homeless? I might have some friends here. I'm not sure if some of my friends have died right now. People I've been in the shelter with. One woman whose name is Diana has a son who has severe mental illness. He was recently hit by a car. Actually, it was a few years ago. Is this the woman who died? I don't even know. Why don't I know that? Why don't I know about my friend?
Right.
It's because in this system of classism, where you get to feel better than somebody because you have a little more, because you have a skill, because you have a house, because you have a job. How silly is that? So many of our great people, the great speakers, the great teachers, whether they're atheists or some religion, Eugene Debs, so many people try to tell us how important this life is, how sacred it is that we treasure each other right now. So I just want to say, I treasure my homeless walk. I treasure the fact that I was able to sleep under the stars, even though I almost froze to death. I'm a pretty functional person. I worry about my friends who might not have so many skills or functions, and then they're getting their stuff taken, their sleeping bag, their tarp that keeps them dry.
Shame.
So I just want to say they can never take that from us, okay? This is our life. This is our sacred life. We are full people, we know that, and in some ways we are blessed. But you have to understand, the war on vagrancy, the war on the poor, that goes way back. Because it keeps people in line. It keeps people in these shitty jobs that don't pay enough. In these meaningless jobs that aren't about community, but about somebody at the top who is greedy. I think Adam Scow, candidate at the Resource Center for Nonviolence, said yesterday, how much is this amount of $1 billion that this bigwig is making? It was like this guy would have to make $200,000 a day, $92 million a year for 1,000 years to make the money that this one person is making. So don't be embarrassed or shamed to be homeless. To be homeless is to be on the front lines. To be homeless is to walk with pride against a system that systematically dehumanizes people, that wants to make you feel like a dog. And dogs are better treated in this system than homeless people often. And this is an absolute outrage. But today, I just want to say that some of my friends have probably died, and I don't even know who they are. And I have to look at myself, and I'll tell you, one of the biggest classists that I know is me. I am a classist. I am a part of this system. I have prejudices. I grew up in this system, and so it's in me. And I want to say it's in every single one of us. So before we get too proud about pointing the finger, even at the incredibly rich and possibly incredibly greedy people, we have to come to terms with classism in ourselves. And we have to value this life because it's so special. And when we lose our friends, it's really important that we honor them and that we know them and that we work together and unite. Really work together and unite to keep people alive, because this life is fabulous. And we want people to be able to enjoy it throughout their old age, throughout poverty, throughout illness, throughout everything. Okay, so I just want to say thank you for holding this memorial. Thank you all very much for being here.
So right now, all over the United States, the local unions of the homeless are holding vigils. This is the longest night, and so we agreed as a national union to hold these vigils and these memorial services on the streets this evening. And so in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and many other cities in the United States, there are people that are doing the same memorial service for those who passed in their streets. So does somebody else want to come forward and really thank everybody for so far who has spoken and the people who have come?
Don't forget to vote for Bernie, everybody.
Hey, Roberta, did you want to speak? You want to speak? Beautiful, thank you.
Hi there, none of you know me. My name's Jane. I've never been a political activist or anything really of notoriety other than just being myself here my whole life. And thanks. And I am a very fortunate person. I'm probably one of those people who has been able to drive around in my car and look at the situation get worse and have judgments that I wish I wasn't having. And I came for the memorial because I'm so sad about the lives that have been lost and the lives that we're losing, and the fact that there are people that have been part of our community, this community and part of our country for so long that it get neglected and deserve so much more. And for the first time this year in my life, I went to a city council meeting. That's the only reason I know the last woman who spoke. Yeah. And I went to a meeting for the Commission for the Prevention of Violence Against Women. And it's a very eye-opening thing. And I'm just trying to become more aware, because the need is so great and it's so easy to distance yourself from ways to help when it's just easy to like click here and just gives a little tiny bit there, here, and there, and here, and there, and not really be engaged in like hands-on. So I'm really here to acknowledge what's happening and not have a big political voice, but that's part of it, a big, huge part of it. So I'm glad to be here. Absolutely.
Please.
Hold that way and speak.
Sure, thank you. I didn't have much time to talk because my property's over there and it's all I have, and because the government took all my property, and that's all I could get back from them. I've lost my family, I've lost my friends, I had 2 dogs and other animals that I've lost to the government, and it's been real difficult for me to try to be in such a government. And I used to be a kindergarten teacher, and the gal over there in the picture looks like one of my former students, and they were really very special to me, very precious treasure. And if there was, you know, a God in the universe who was good, I would pray to him that nothing bad would happen to them, and if they could come back somehow, it sure would be nice. I used to have 2 dogs. One was named Serena, another one was named Duchess, and I had other animals too. They were taken from me too. And because so many bad things have happened to me, I feel like, you know, it's like I could never even get them back. And even with the weather and so forth, for people who are really homeless, it makes it extremely difficult to be. And so that's how it's been for me recently. And I've had a lot of trouble with a gal who's been really severely abusive to a dog in the community, and I try to rescue as best I can, and sometimes I felt that I didn't get any help from the community or from law enforcement, and ended up sort of taking the law into my own hands, sort of I don't know, belated or whatever, and found that it was really difficult for the community at the time to accept that I was I try to be a fair lady, but I think maybe they get deceived about people and who they are or who they aren't, or get bribed or deceived in both. It ended up getting in a lot of trouble and trying to come back from that. And it's really very difficult. And but I try my best to be as fair as lady as I can be wherever I am, and hope that I will be supported for being a fair lady, and hope that others will support me in trying to make the world a better place, a place where there's justice, a place that's free from theft and all the abuses that happen because of theft, and that there'd be a place of sharing and defense. Thank you. Yes, pets are our families. Pets are our families too. So yeah. Thanks.
Wow, thank you so much for what your very powerful comments. Do more people would like to speak about their experience, about someone who they've lost, like Desiree, or if you were friends with Kat, who just passed away at 1220 River Street yesterday? Anybody would like to make more comments? Yeah, Mark, you want to speak? Okay, did you want to speak?
Yeah, this community is so blessed. Many communities don't do this. Those who die outside.
So thank you.
So again, we need blankets, tarps. Please, we put them out over here. You can see how fast things have gone. We need socks. We need clean underwear. That's brand new underwear from Costco or someplace. And we need sleeping bags. This, I don't know what she's talking about, but that's pretty interesting. So, again, I want to thank everyone for coming to the memorial, taking part in this memorial. It's tragic that we have to do this. Let's hope next year it will not be 85 people. Hopefully it won't be one person, but we know many of the people that are retired to the streets, because that's the way our country is. So, no, did you want to say something?
I'm pretty quiet. I can just say though that they're still with us though every day.
Yeah. Okay.
And their power is really.
You got wisdom.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay.
I just got. I'll just say real quick. Sure.
Just remember that they're still with us every day in so many ways. The power and the spirit and their existence is all part of our cosmos. So no one is really completely gone, and they're just moved to a different form. So thank you all, and all my love to everyone, and let me know if you need help with survival, and let's help each other survive out here. And we know that it's not going to change quick, and it might not ever change. There's always going to be people that will probably be houseless or homeless. So let's just keep that as part of the pattern that we're going to have in the future, and we'll just keep working with that pattern and doing the best we can within that. Thank you.
Elephant in the room.